After years of slandering succulents, I have become a succulent girly. Not only have I gone out and bought not one or two, but 3 succulents on 2 separate occasions, but I also actually want to talk about them because they are so pretty. Hello, my name's Balisa. Welcome to Plants and Things. I talk about plants and things. Before we get into the actual plants, I do want to preface this video by saying, yes, I went out and bought these plants. Yes, I want to talk about them, but I still don't know their names. I still do not know their names. I will attempt to make an effort to learn their names, but for now, I'm just going to be talking about how pretty they are. So let's get into it. The first of my new succulents is this guy. And honestly, from the moment I saw it, I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. And I still think this plant is so gorgeous. I did buy it with this, is it called a peduncle, a shoot thing coming out. And it basically like flowered, I think. So I bought it with this thing. But I think what happens is it shoots this thing out and then it flowers from here. So this whole place has had flowers and they've dried out. So I think when I bought it, it was still flowering at this section and then flowered out. But the one thing that this keeps on reminding me of are dragon claws, because it's doing this kind of, and the edges of the plant are red. So, and I love the white spotting as well. So I think this succulent is really, really pretty. And it is growing little offshoots on the side, which I like. I'm not saying I'm going to propagate the plant. But one thing that I definitely love now about plants is when they look full. And I did mention this in a previous video that when I was first getting into plants, big thing for me was propagating them. But then, of course, they would look emaciated. And so I love them when they are growing so much bigger. And there's just something about a flowering succulent that is just so... I don't even know how to describe it. It kind of like, it makes it seem, I think desert flowers seem extra hardy, and they probably are extra hardy because it's like you're growing a flower in these harsh conditions. The harsh conditions are in my house, but natural habitat that God placed it in. So I think it's absolutely cute. And the flowers on this plant are very similar to the flowers on my favorite plant, which is my Plectranthus verticillatus. And so, it was an immediate, like, I want to say love at first sight, but I'm probably also using that very loosely. But yes, one of my absolute favorite new plants of the 3. This is my most favorite of the 3. Okay, so I'm going to go from my most favorite to my least favorite because obviously I love rankings. It's not going to grow in this thing. I don't love this plastic thing that it's in. I am intending to pot it in a glass type situation like the next guy that you'll see, but I think this plant is so very pretty. The detailing is like, it's amazing. It's amazing. I was going to go into a whole thing about the Ndebele tribe and how this also made me think of the Ndebele tribe, like I want to say art. I was going to say decorations, but that actually isn't the right word. The art that they are famous for. This reminds me of it. So this is such a pretty plant, and it's also been the easier to take care of the succulents, because when I water, I want to gush all the water onto the plants, and that's not recommended for succulents. You're supposed to not touch the leaves, which I'm like, that sounds very impossible to me because the leaves are growing into the soil. How's the water not going to touch the leaves? But absolutely gorgeous plant. I love looking at it and the little claws, and I literally make the claw sign when I look at it. So that's the first of my new succulents. Next of my new succulents, which is also my second favorite of the succulents that I bought, is this one. And the reason I absolutely like this one is actually kind of weird, because one of they're one of these pests, and I don't know their names, but they're red, and this thing reminds me of these pests that love to go on my syngoniums, but especially my mottled syngoniums. And then they basically make this kind of like rugged, rough edge, and they're red. And they also like to go on roses as well. So I'll find the name of them and a picture of them. But this reminded me of that, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is so cute. Which is really a weird reason to buy a plant, but I love the rough edges, the kind of like Honestly, these plants are all just making me see how creative God is, because these plants are so gorgeous. The red detail edge, the like lines of it, it is so pretty. This one has been the more difficult one to take care of, and the reason is because this one really seems to hate water touching it more than the other plant that I just showed. So I did remove some soil at the bottom to make it easier to not touch the leaves with water. But yeah, and it also was filling over, so I don't know how they package this and what they think through when they are actually making the plants, or they just like, y'all, we'll sort it out when you get home. And I did sort it out by removing some soil. So it is dry now, but it's also very difficult to, I don't know whether it's very difficult, but it's felt really difficult to get the whole thing wet and then let it dry out. And there's even green molding, and I'm like, is that on me? So yeah, it is a pretty plant though. It isn't growing any babies, which is whatevs, but it grows really pretty. I just really love the pink edging. So it is actually also a new pink plant in my collection. So in the next pink plant collection video, you will be seeing this plant because it's so very cute. So it has like dark green and pink edging, and reminds me of a pest that I've had to kill multiple times from my mottle syngonium, but it's really just a very, very pretty plant. And in my defense about the fact that I don't know these succulent names, literally this is the label. It just says micro succulent. So last plant on my new succulents is this guy, which reminds me of the robot. I didn't watch the movie. The robot from the movie Big Hero 6. I did not watch the movie, but I have seen the poster, and this looked more like it when I bought it, because it only had this chubby part at the bottom, and now it's grown skinnier part at the top, because it looks like it's like chubby at the bottom, and then it has this slim waist, and then this whatever's going on at the top. But it reminded me of that when I got it. And again, this is probably the easiest one to take care of, because it even, like, I don't really interact all that much with it, so it is the easiest to take care of. And it's just a chubby chubster, and it's just so cute. I'm scared of touching it too much, because it also, I think one of the leaves fell off. I think the leaves just fall off. They look like they just plonked on, which is crazy. Again, look at the things that God makes. But I also am not intending to keep this plant in this planter. I also want to get it a cute little decorative glass pot situation. Like, I'm intending to thrift that in 2025. Obviously, it's not a 2024 problem. It is a 2025 problem, but it is a very cute plant. Yeah, and it has this, I don't even know what this color is, like a pale, it looks like there's some blues in there. I don't know whether it's because of the white, there's like a whitish layer that you can kind of wipe off, but that builds up again. And I wonder why that actually, I wonder what that is for. Must be a protection mechanism. I wonder what that is for. I actually will look into what that is for. But yeah, this is the plant, which is really, really cute, and it's also the most well-adjusted of all of them. And also, when I was getting when I was getting these plants, because I bought this one and the first one together, and the first one, which I loved, and it was the only one of that one that was there, didn't have these tiny rocks. And I asked the person at the nursery whether I could have more tiny rocks, and he was like, no, you don't take that how it is. And I did take it how it is. But this is such a cute little plant that I'm enjoying it, and I'm also very excited to do my whole repotting thing. They have been here for more than a month, so they have adjusted. Yeah, and it's looking really pretty. It does have a random skinny section, but otherwise it's looking really pretty. That is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you know what any of the succulents that I showed you today are called, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, like the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.